Hello there, welcome to the Political Roundup right here on Voice of the People Television. My name is Chioma Innocent. Now, on the Political Roundup, we discuss and analyze trending issues in the political arena, as well as other sectors that impact our daily existence. And we also spotlight major political conversations that have taken place during the day and the week. And we do have seasoned and knowledgeable analysts who will be dissecting the topics for your understanding. Before we proceed, let's take an overview of issues across the polity which we will be discussing today. We'll begin in Rivers State, where Governor Sim Fubara has sworn in the 9 re-nominated commissioners who resigned from his cabinet. Now, I'm speaking while swearing in the commissioners at the Government House in Port Harcourt today. Governor Fubara noted that they resigned from his cabinet because they were caught in a crossfire. That is to say, they didn't mean to resign. Okay. The 9 commissioners took their oaths at once, beginning with the oath of allegiance before taking the oath of office. Congratulating the commissioners, the governor urged them to do what is right for the state. Now, you will recall that the commissioners had initially resigned their appointment due to the rift between Governor Fubara and the Minister of the FCT, who is the former Rivers State Governor, Nyesom Wike. We will also go to Plateau State, where the Miyetti Alakatu Breeders Association of Nigeria, MACBAN, in Mangu local government area of Plateau State, has denied involvement of herdsmen in recent attacks in the area. The chairman of MACBAN in Mangu, Yaya Bello, described the accusations as untrue, highlighting losses herdsmen suffered within the community themselves. Now, Bello also rejected claims of MACBAN's involvement in land grabbing. Responding to questions from journalists about suspected perpetrators, MACBAN refuted claims that any of their members had been apprehended with weapons related to the attack. Now, still in the north, in response to President Bola Tinubu's approval of the relocation of the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria (FAN) headquarters and some CBN departments from Abuja to Lagos, the Joint Action Committee of Northern Youth Associations has demanded the immediate removal of Festus Keyamo, the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, and of course, CBN Governor Yemi Cardoso. Now, this was reportedly contained in a statement released by the organization on Thursday and signed by its convener, Moritala Abubakar. The organization praised the federal politicians from the north who voiced their displeasure with the proposed transfer of the CBN and FAN from Abuja to Lagos. However, the group argued that the president should be given a deadline by Congress to halt the relocation rather than being sued to invalidate the decision. They also said that choices that have an impact on the nation's administrative and economic landscape must be taken responsibly, openly, and in compliance with the Constitution. We'll be talking about this later on, but then we'll also be looking at former presidential aide, Malam Garba Shehu, urging Nigerians to lower their expectations of President Bola Tinubu's administration on the nation. Anyway, Shehu made this appeal while speaking during the 21st Daily Trust annual dialogue organized by the Trust Media Group in Abuja today. Now, the former presidential spokesman described former President Muhammad Buhari as a victim of the crisis of expectation. He asked Nigerians to learn from the past administration and not expect too much, saying Nigerians should lower their expectations of political leaders. This would beg the question, what then is the job of the elite? What is the job of the political leaders if they cannot do what they are elected to do? Lower our expectations? Anyway, it's not for me to say. You're watching the Political Roundup right here on Voice of the People Television. We'll go on a short break, and when we return, we will delve into the main conversation with our seasoned analysts who are already present. Welcome to the Political Roundup. We'll go on a short break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching the Political Roundup right here on Voice of the People Television. It is time for us to delve into the main conversation. I'm not alone in the studio. We do have joining us virtually to discuss this, Chukwuma Okoro, a public affairs analyst. Welcome to the conversation, Mr. Okoro.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so dearly. I would appreciate it if you increase the volume on your device so we can hear you better, please.
That's all I can go.
Thank you so dearly.
Can you hear me?
Yes, this is so much better. Thank you, Mr. Okoro. All right, then also in the studio, we have Mr. Peter Nasuke, development economist. Acclaimed author, critic, and social affairs commentator who will be joining us today to discuss these issues. Welcome to the conversation, Mr. Noski.
Let's do it once again.
Happy Friday. We call it TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. Yeah. All right. It is the Friday edition of the Political Roundup. It's another time for us to have enlightening conversations on the issues and the polity. We'll begin from Rivers State, where Governor Sim Fubara has sworn in the 9 re-nominated commissioners who resigned from his cabinet. While swearing in the commissioners today, Governor Fubara said they resigned from his cabinet because they were caught in a crossfire. That is, they were victims. They didn't want to do it, but they were caught in a crossfire, and now they are back. Mr. Okoro, I really want to ask the question, is this the right thing for Governor Fubara to do? If people leave your cabinet and say, we don't want to work with you anymore, no matter the outside influence, should you really allow them back, right? Even if the governor says they were caught in a crossfire, doesn't this mean that they could easily be influenced from the outside? Is Governor Fubara taking the right stand for himself, his administration, and the people of Rivers State?
I think what Governor Fubara has done is to speak the truth. Those people were actually caught in the crossfire, and he has simply told you that his hands are tied. His hands are still tied. I mean, there is no need for him to paper over what is happening in Rivers State. He has come out in the open to say that the people were caught in the crossfire. The commissioners who were renominated and sworn in today were actually caught in the crossfires because, I mean, if you look at what transpired, people were forced into cabinet. People were forced on him by his supposed godfather. In the course of the struggle, in the course of the fight between the father and the son, of course, there was collateral damage, and the commissioners were part of the collateral damage. All said and done, in the process of peacemaking, so to say, those people were asked to come back. That is to tell you that both the governor himself and the commissioners' hands are tied. They actually don't have, they are not speaking for themselves. There is somebody that is controlling them. There are extraneous factors. They don't have, they're operating from an external locus of control. And what the governor has simply said is, hey, guys, we need to be careful because we are in a position where we need to tell ourselves the honest truth. And that is what he has done. But if you ask me, the whole event of what is happening in Rivers State is embarrassing. It's embarrassing to Nigerians. It's embarrassing to Rivers people. It's insulting to Nigerians, and it's even more insulting to Rivers people. I mean, I can't imagine that we have a governor, a minister who was governor for 8 years, has left office as governor. He is not a minister, and from the ministerial position, he is trying to remote control his governor, even if he was the one that appointed him. I mean, he should give him space. He should give him free space to run the state. And the whole thing speaks to the process of recruitment of leadership. Should one man alone, single-handedly appoint and push through the election of a governor of the state? It is wrong. And it is the process, it is the wrong process that has produced what is happening in Rivers State. Instead of concentrating on providing services, governance to the people, for the past 6 or 7 months, Sim Fubara has been struggling to retain his position. He's been pummeled from left, right, and center by the governor, by the governor's henchmen, by the commissioners in his own cabinet. Even the presidency has no help. I mean, and we sit back and watch everything happening in Rivers State. In other climes, the people of Rivers State should have trooped out and said, no, this is not what we want. We have a governor who should be allowed to govern. But I'm happy too that Sim Fubara has, the Supreme Court has finally validated his election as the authentic governor of Rivers State, and it's left to be seen how he's going to use that position to entrench his powers as the chief executive of that state and ensure that, look, he delivers the dividends of democracy to people of Rivers State.
Thank you for your submission, Mr. Okoro. We also have joining us for the political roundup this evening, Alester Wilcox, a public affairs analyst. Welcome to the conversation, Mr. Wilcox.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
Thank
Can
you
you hear
so
me?
much for joining us. Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. We're talking about the River State situation, a situation which has dragged on for quite a bit of time, from last year up until now. The information we're getting today is that Governor Sim Fubara has sworn in the 9 commissioners who recently resigned from his cabinet. They were renominated and they've been, he has sworn them in again, so they'll be working with him for the rest of his tenure, his first term as the governor of River State. And the question remains, is he doing the right thing? For these commissioners to have resigned in the first place, just like Mr. Okoro said, there was external influence. Are these external factors no longer influencing them? Would they really work with Governor Fubara if they are loyal to his predecessor, Wike, who is now Minister of the FCT? Will there not just be that spectre hanging over Fubara's government? I really like you to speak on that situation.
As a bona fide reverse man, I'm ashamed. Let me endorse what your last speaker said. As a bona fide reverse man that grew up in Port Harcourt, that has the full grasp of reverse politics, I'm totally ashamed. And like your former guest, like your my colleague on the other side said, it's a slap on the integrity of the reverse man. This is not the River State I knew. This is not the River State I grew up in. This is not the River State that has produced men and women of character and honor and dignity. This is not the same River. If it's the same River State I knew that produces men, I don't want to start calling names, that produces a man called Governor Wike, ex-Governor Wike, the same River State, I think then there is something wrong with the soul of the Rivers man. Look, I do not envy the position of Governor Fubara because from all indication he was swimming against the tide, and the people of Rivers State has come to think that the president did not help matters. Rather, the president compounded his position, because when that so-called peace meeting was a disaster. And let me also salute the governor for the tacit way he has used to manage that process. That peace process came up since November. I was in Port Harcourt in December. I was in River State in December for my holiday. And I felt all the pauses. The entire gamut spectrum of Rivers community is angry with that peace accord, with that peace deal. And for a long time, I saw one of my friends, we lived in the same street, and it's not a big boy, David Briggs, who was really, really like the spokesperson of the governor in terms of that peace deal. And I appreciate what he said, some of the things he said. So I appreciate the way the governor too has managed to handle the situation. All I would require of the governor now, yes, is a slap that those 9 men and women that are loyal, that find themselves at the apron string of Gordon Wike, will go out of a council, and then maybe the peace deal brought them back. I don't know the kind of relationship they will have with the governor. Are they going to work for the Rivers people, or are they going to work for Governor Wike, ex-Governor Wike? I don't know. So the situation is there's a bet. Look, the truth of the matter is Rivers people are not happy. They see it as a slap on their face. They see it as a degrading of the character of the people of River State, which this is not who we are. We are better than what we are seeing. We are more honorable than what we are seeing today. But they say time. Let's see how time will heal it. Because I want to see those men start working. I want to see their output. I want to see their utterances. I want to see their mien as to how they will relate with the governor. That is when I will start to know if truly these men are going to work for River State or they're going to work for ex-Governor Wike. Time and time alone will tell.
All right, Mr. Wilcox, my final question on this particular topic will go to our in-house analyst right here in the studio, Mr. Anosike. The question remains, Mr. Wilcox has spoken his piece, and so has Mr. Okoro as well, on this situation, right? Governor Fubara said that he literally said they were victims of circumstance and they were caught in a crossfire. Isn't that him absolving them of blame? They are not children to be told what to do.
Well, for me, I'm looking at this issue from the angle of integrity and joblessness. Understand? Among those commissioners who were a professor who was the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice in the state. He was among those that come back. Understand me? So if those people have jobs, if they are busy, if they have integrity, they wouldn't have come back. They would have moved on. Understand? So I'm seeing this as people not having jobs and not having integrity. If it's people that have conscience that resigned, they will have said, I don't want to go back there. Do you understand that? They will have said, I don't want to go back there. But for me, that's why even professors are no longer valued in this country. Because there's no more difference between a tout and a university professor. If it's a professor that valued himself, he wouldn't have got, he would say, thank you, Mr. Minister, I've resigned, I will not go back there. So for me, all those nine commissioners, none of them has integrity and none of them is busy. Then for FOBRA, I'm not a fan of FOBRA, understand? FOBRA and Wike are the same kind of people. So what is happening is serving him right. My only sympathy is for the people of Rivers State because governance is going to suffer in the state for the next 4 years. These people, and again, FOBRA is pushing himself into impeachment because all these things that is going to do for the representation of budget, casting of budget, the four laws that the House of Assembly that are not supposed to be sitting passed, understand? So there's not going to be governance in the state for the next 4 years. And that's what Wike and FOBRA jointly cost for the people of River State.
Okay, then, you're still watching the political roundup right here on Voice After People Television. We'll now move on to the next topic. The Miati Alakatu Breeders Association of Nigeria, Mark Ban in Mangu local government area of Plateau State, has denied involvement of headsmen in recent attacks in the area. Now, the chairman of Mark Ban in Mangu, right, has said the accusation is untrue. He says even the headsmen suffered within the community. My question will come to you, Mr. Wilcox. Yesterday, we interviewed the youth leader of Berom in Plateau State, and he said a lot. He talked about the cattle breeders being involved. He talked about the military protecting the bandits when they were advancing into the community. From many videos that were shared online, we realized that these people, usually when we get reports of bandits in the community, they're coming on motorcycles, they're probably wearing military camouflages, they're coming with weapons and exotic guns. But this one were neighbors rising against neighbors, right? The Murik, that's the Muslim Rights Council, has condemned this. Mark Ban has come out to condemn this, which is really good. But then, would we really expect them to come out and say, oh, our members are responsible for this, or some of them are? If the Plateau people keep saying it is the Fulanis killing them for ethnic cleansing and land grabbing, should those allegations and accusations not be looked into? Mr. Wilcox.
Let me say this, and I'm saying that advisedly. The problem of the Middle Belt, especially Plateau and Benue, seems to be an internal problem or a quasi-internal problem that they find who to blame. And it's rather sad that the violence perpetrated by even the indigenes, remember what they did, and unfortunately, since the era of Muhammadu Buhari, every crime in this country has found an alibi, and which is the Fulanis. I'm not a Fulani, I'm from River State, I'm not hold brief for them. But it is whereby it has become very, very convenient that every crime committed, if it's committed in Imo State, it is Fulani herdsmen. If it's committed in River State, it is Fulani herdsmen. Committed in Oyo State, it's Fulani. So every crime now do not have an alibi. It's now Fulani. So no other people commit crime in Nigeria than the Fulanis, and that is the ugly narrative that started, and that is what has increased crime in Nigeria. Because the real perpetrators will have a wild cat, easy getaway car. And then, because there will be an alibi that will hold on to the Fulanis. Now, the problem in that Jos predates today. Now, Tinubu, Buhari is no more president. Because when Buhari was president, they were using Buhari as a Fulani man to find a cover to blame the Fulanis. Now, Tinubu, is he a Fulani man? So how could President Bola Tinubu give order or allow troops? Today, remember today that the chief of army staff is a Yoruba man, he's not a Fulani man. So how could he have given order for troops to protect a group of people to go and attack other people? So those guys, they know what they are doing and they're only spitting fire. It's either they will play the religious card, and that is the danger I find in this country. Perpetrators of crime will look for something to hang on to divert attention. It's either they will use religion. There was a time that in that same Plateau, I love Plateau State so much. I love Jos. I love Plateau State. But sometimes the crime of the people is something else to be desired. There was time they used under the cover of religion and massacre a lot of Muslims from Ondo State. What happened? So I think there should be a more sensitive way of approaching this problem. Let's find the real perpetrators. Because this issue of every crime, every kidnapping, every crime now in Nigeria, since Buhari came to power, every crime in every nook and cranny of Nigeria is not Fulani. For goodness sake, what's even the number of Fulanis in Nigeria? Now they could occupy all forests in Ondo State, in Imo State, in Abia State. They've occupied all forests, and they're the people committing crime. I think we need to have a change of heart and attitude, and find the real culprits and perpetrators of crime, so that we can nip crime in the bud. Let me yield the floor to others because I think time is tight. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wilcox, for joining us today on the Political Roundup, even at such short notice. We really do appreciate you. We have to let you go now because we know you have a lot to do. Thank you so dearly for joining us, and have a good evening.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, my next question on this topic would go to Mr. Chukwuma Okoro. Thank you for standing by. Do you agree with Mr. Wilcox that it seems the Fulani headsmen are being unjustly blamed for every attack that happens anywhere in Nigeria? We do know that many of these people are nomads. They've fought against ranching so many times, preferring to move their cows and their herds from one place to another, preferring the nomadic lifestyle. Now, the Plateau people are saying this is ethnic cleansing, this is land grabbing. I'm asking, should we not listen to them? But Mr. Wilcox is saying stop blaming the Hausa Fulani community, the headsmen, and look more inwards to find the reasons for this. Is that an opinion that you agree with, Mr. Wilcox? Mr. Ogoro, rather?
It's an opinion I completely disagree with Mr. Wilcox, because the Plateau crisis has a history. Plateau crisis has a history, and it's been ongoing for a very long while. If in the 1990s, early 1990s, Babangida tried in a bid to solve the crisis between the natives, what they call the indigenes, and the headers or the comers to the community. He split Jos into two, into Jos North and Jos South. What caused the problem? At a certain time, the people, the foreigners that came into Jos wanted to become the local government chairman of Jos local government. And the natives said, no, this is our native land, and you cannot come here because of your numbers. You want to take over the governance of this place from us. Resorting to that, Babangida split Jos into two, and you had Jos North, I think, for the foreigners, and Jos South for the natives. What is happening today in Jos is an agenda, if you ask me. That is my thinking, that is my belief. It's an agenda. And I said it on this TV the other time, that the next time we will hear about this Jos crisis is when another set of people is killed by whoever that is doing the killing. I mean, there is no need trying to sound politically correct. We see headers carry assault rifles, AK-47, AK-49. We see headers go into villages and massacre people in their hundreds. We see the natives send out calls, response, they call out to the military formations, to the police, to DSS, calling for rescue. And it takes like 3, 4, 5, 6 hours for help to come. By the time the help comes, the damage has already been done. I disagree with Mr. Wilcox that any crime that happens in Nigeria is now that it's only the Fulani headsmen that are blamed. No, when people kidnap in Edo State, when people kidnap in Imo State or in Abia State, we don't call Fulani headsmen. The just issue is the just Benue issue is a peculiar one, and it has everything to do with ethnic cleansing. It has everything to do with land grabbing. Because normally it is between the herders and the farmers and the natives. I mean, in this age and time, we see people move from the north, far north, through the middle belt, down to the south, into the ocean, looking for fertile ground to feed their cow. When we can do ranching, first they started with Ruga. Ruga was shut down. They started with another livestock, whatever. That one didn't work. They went to water resources management. It didn't work. And all through the period, for the 8 years that Buhari was in government, did you ever hear that a particular header was prosecuted, let alone jailed for killing somebody? It never happened. So what are we saying? What are we saying? See, the honest thing we can do for ourselves is to speak the truth to us. There is one movie that I watched recently. If you look at how the Rwanda genocide, how it unraveled, it started like this, gradually, between the Hutus and the Tutsis. Over time, for 40 years, for 45 years, right from 1959. But the day it happened, it's like when a cup of water overfills. It is a single drop. It was just one event that happened. And the genocide started, and they killed more than 800 on both sides. If you haven't seen Hotel Rwanda, look for it. It's there. It's out there. You can Google it, download it, and watch it. That was massacre of the highest order. And that what is happening in Nigeria now, that was how it started. People didn't pay heed to it. When the Tutsis complained, the government didn't listen. When the Hutus complained, the government didn't listen until it unraveled and blew everybody up, everybody in the face. See, what I expect the president to do is to look into the issue of herders-farmers clash. That is the only thing that can solve this problem. You cannot tell Fulani people not to live in Benue. You cannot tell them not to live in Plateau. You can, just like you cannot tell the Igbo man to live in Kano or Kaduna. You can't tell the Rivers man not to live in Sokoto. We should live, because this is Nigeria. It's an open space for citizens to live in. But we must do it in such a way that, look, in the process of fending for yourself, you don't have to deny me of my own rights.
All right.
If you have my farmland, so what do? What we want the government to do is to ranch. Let us resort to ranching. We keep talking.
All right, Mr. Okoro, your network seems to be breaking off. There seems to be a glitch. But then I'd like to come to Mr. Anotike with some of the points that you have raised, which many interviews we've granted over time when it comes to the Plateau State issue, the people who live there are saying the same thing. In a few minutes, so we can move on to the next topic, Mr. Anotike, I'd like you to speak on the Plateau State situation. Is it not time to listen to what they're saying?
For me, if Wilcox did not say that he's a River State man, I would have think that he's the public relations officer of the Fulanese. Understand? I would have think that because what he did is a PR job for them.
No, but he's just saying we should not always blame them.
They are the ones. The massacre in North Panta in Abia State is the Fulanese. In Enugu North is the Fulanese. Benue is the Fulanese.
What's the way? Is it
then
to prevent them from the nomadic lifestyle? Because we know that has been
and the government is aiding them. Why should they be carrying AK-47?
They would say to protect themselves, but really to protect yourself. Does
timber workers in Ondo go into the forest? Do they use any of such? So they are being treated like sacred cows. That's what gave them the impetus to be doing what they are doing. What is happening in what is happening in that state, everybody knows. The Funanis have been taking communities in Plateau State. They are the people that are causing what is happening there. It is known. They are the people. I was at Agatu 2 days after that massacre. It was still this herdsmen, and they have special protection from the government. They became emboldened when Buhari became president. So they feel that they can do anything and then get away with it. As Mr. Okoro said, for the last 8 years, has any Fulani herdsmen been arrested? None. But it is them that killed 50 people in North Bantan in Abia State. The army is aware of this. So nobody should try to cover the truth. Everybody knows what is happening. Funanis want to take over Benue and Plateau State. And the government knows it. The authority knows it. But they don't have the political will to tell the country what is happening and stop it.
All right then, still on the north, but we're moving on to the next topic. In response to President Bola Tinubu's approval of the relocation of the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria FAN headquarters and some CBN departments from Abuja to Lagos, the Joint Action Committee of Northern Youth Associations has demanded the immediate removal of Festus Keyamo, the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, and of course, Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Olayemi Kadoso. Now, the question is this. The organizations are praising federal politicians from the north for voicing their displeasure with the proposed transfer of CBN and FAN. My question would come to you, Mr. Okoro. I'd like to know, why is it a problem if FAN headquarters or some CBN departments move away from Abuja, right? The Supreme Court has ruled that it is time for, when it came to the ruling of, for the president, when it came to the issue brought by Atiku of the PDP and Obi of the Labour Party as regards the votes in Abuja. Abuja is not a state. Why is it a problem if the headquarter and, this department, the CBN department, move away from Abuja to Lagos? The CBN are saying they're trying to decongest their Abuja office. Is that not a valid reason? Why does it seem like, without being biased, that the northern politicians are trying to center this around them?
It is laughable. It is laughable, and I think the youths are speaking from the point of ignorance, and I want to say, with all sense of responsibility, that President Tinubu does not owe them any explanation. He doesn't owe them any explanation. Like I said, they are speaking from the point of ignorance. Have they forgotten so soon that the central bank already has an office in Lagos, or used to have an office? In fact, there is still some departments of the CBN that are operational in Lagos. So the fact that they want to move more departments to Lagos doesn't really matter if it is going to improve the efficiency of the organization to deliver on their core mandate. What is FAN doing in Abuja when their major operations are in Lagos? I mean, see, the whole idea of, because the northerners, both the youth and the legislators that are kicking against it, believe, and wrongly so, that Nigeria and Abuja belongs to them. And that is why they are very bold to come on the floor of the National Assembly. The floor of the National Assembly, that is a national edifice, a center of unity, the sign of our unity, the symbol of our unity. They sit on the floor of the National Assembly and ask the president not to relocate offices to Lagos, that they should remain in Abuja, even when it is obvious that they have lost some efficiency by remaining in Abuja. What insolence is that? The earlier we begin to let the northerners understand that, look, Nigeria belongs to everybody. Abuja doesn't belong to the north. Abuja is the federal capital territory. It does not belong to the north. Every Nigerian has a right to stay, do business, and live in Abuja. And the president has a right to move any office to any part of the country, so long as it's going to improve the efficiency of the organization. I mean, over time, people have personally, I have made submissions, I have written, I have talked elsewhere that, look, isn't it time that we moved the head offices of oil companies to Rivers and Bayelsa State, to Akwa Ibom, where they have the operational bases? One thing it will do is to create a multiplier effect on the businesses of those areas. Can you imagine if NMPCL that sits in Abuja and takes all the money from the Niger Delta, if that office is moved to a place like Port Harcourt or Bayelsa? Can you imagine the multiplier effect it will give the economy of Bayelsa or Delta State? And simply moving fund, the north is kicking. If all the military formations, you have the NDA, you have the military academy in Zaria, all the military academies are in the north. And for no one time has the south objected or raised objection. So why are they behaving as if Nigeria belongs to them? I ask the president, Mr. President, please, if moving FAAN to Lagos will improve the efficiency, please do that. You don't owe anybody any explanation. If moving CBN, some offices of CBN, to Lagos will improve their delivery of their core mandate, please do that. And I also urge you to move the NMPCL down to the south, to south-south. That is where it's supposed to be. It has no business in Abuja. What is it doing in Abuja? What is Shell doing in Lagos?
Okay.
What is Chevron doing in Lagos? They should all move down there. You know, so see the whole thing, like I said, they are operating from a basis of arrogance and ignorance at the same time. And I think we have kept quiet for so long. The moment we begin to tell ourselves the honest truth, the better for all of us.
All right then. Our time is fast spent, Mr. Anoske. For a minute or two, I'd like you to quickly speak on this situation. Right, the Northerners centering themselves in the FAN and CBN relocation. Why is it such an issue?
When Chukwumokoro was talking, I was laughing in my mind. He was talking of Nigeria of 2000 to 2022. Abuja is no more the center of excellence. Abuja is no more the symbol of unity. From the Supreme Court judgment, Abuja is now a state. That's what the Supreme Court judgment said, that Abuja is now like any other state, like Ondo, like Abia, like Ogun State. So we shouldn't be referring to Abuja anymore as the center of unity, or as that is 1 year ago. But Mr. Kore again said that Tinubu does not owe them any explanation. He owes them a great explanation. And I'm telling you, he's not going to move those departments. What is happening in Rivers State is what is happening now in the country. The North, Nyesom Wike felt that he put Fubra in power. Therefore, Fubra should be taken orders from him. The North felt that they put Tinubu in power. Therefore, Tinubu should not go against their interests. And the truth is that Tinubu scored 25% in his own southwest in the presidential election, but scored 60-something% from the north. Therefore, it's the north that put him there. And 2027 is still coming. So Tinubu cannot afford to go against the north. I'm ready to bet anything.
Would you say this would affect his 2027
He will
ambition
not
to run
move
for his
it.
second term?
Tinubu is a smart guy. He's a very smart person.
So are we expecting him now to give in to their
He
demands?
will buckle. He will buckle.
So there will be no more relocation of
There
finance.
will be no more relocation.
Wow.
They not put him there, and they can remove him there.
Okay then.
So he's going to do their bidding. So Chukwuma said that they are talking from point of arrogance. Yes. They say that they are born to rule, that they have the power of the country in their hand, that it is their birthright. Sokoto say that their motto is born to rule. Therefore, they have the knife and the yam. So if Tinubu fails to do their bidding, 2027 he's out of there. I think he's already warming up. So they have alternatives to Tinubu. Tinubu will not remove those ministries.
All right, then. The political roundup is coming to an end, but we will not go without treating our final topic, even though we're running out of time really quickly. So, Mr. Chukwumakoro, I'd like to come to you with my final question. Former presidential aide Garba Shehu is saying Nigerians should lower their expectations of President Bola Tinubu. He's also saying that former President Muhammadu Buhari was a victim of the crisis of expectation, that Nigerians expected too much from them. Can a country, can a people, can citizens really expect too much from their president? Is the Nigerian situation unsolvable? Is Nigeria that horrible that whoever we have, we should just be managing them and be doing patch until whenever their tenure ends?
Sorry, I will come to that. I will come to that, but let me respond to Peter before I answer the last question. Peter, the fact that the Supreme Court made a decision that didn't recognize Abuja as the federal capital territory by their decision, by not allowing the 25% vote to stay, what they did was just to give a political judgment. Even the Supreme Court understands that it's erred in that judgment. But having said that, I think the fact that the North is born to rule, or that they are arrogant, or that they put Tinubu there, or that they put any other person, there is a myth that we have allowed to endure. And the earlier we begin to clear that myth, the better. The earlier we begin to, the South begins to assert itself profoundly, the better for all of us. Because come to think of it, it was not only in the North that Tinubu won 25%. He won it in some parts of the Southeast as well.
Okay,
so
Mr.
everybody
Okoro,
have equal stake.
Mr. Okoro, please, I'll need you to answer
Yes.
the last question, all right? We have about 5 minutes to go before we have to end the program. So if you could answer the last question about expectations from Nigerians presidents.
Okay, I think I've made my point clear on the other one. For Garba Shehu to tell Nigerians not to expect too much, he has simply told you that the APC government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu has nothing to offer Nigerians. Simple. It's as simple as that. The APC government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has nothing to offer Nigerians. Tinubu was the national leader of APC for 8 years. He was part of Buhari's government as the national leader. And he knows, even before then, between the time he left office in 2007 and 2015, when his party won the election, he knows everything, all the challenges, all the problems that we have in this country. Very humongous. And he decided to offer himself to serve. And now that we have given him the mandate, so to say, somebody is coming to tell us that we should not expect much from him. Why shouldn't we? Shouldn't we expect that the price of fuel should come down? Shouldn't we expect that inflation should come down? Shouldn't we expect that we should be treated in Nigerian hospitals? Shouldn't I expect that my children should go to school? Shouldn't I expect to pass through motorable roads? Shouldn't I expect to have good potable water? Shouldn't I expect to have electricity? What shouldn't I expect from a government that has been in office in the past 8 years and knows every problem that we have? And somebody is telling me, no, you should not expect much from that person. What that person has told me is that in the next 4 years, there is no hope for me. And it's unacceptable.
Okay. Mr. Okoro, I cannot thank you enough for joining us today. I would love to hear you still dissect this issue and give us more analysis on these issues. But our time is fast spent. We do hope that when we call on you again, you will join us as a political roundup holds every weekday. Thank you so much for joining us this evening and have an amazing one.
Pleasure is mine. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. All right then. I do not want to go. The conversation is interesting. It is enlightening, but I will not leave without asking Mr. Anoske his final thoughts on everything we've discussed today, but mostly, what do they mean by Buhari was a victim of too much expectations? I will keep saying that one thing I remember Buhari for the most was expressing shock. He almost always seemed oblivious to what was happening in the country.
Buhari was always absent-minded. he never have that mental presence. And that's who he is. Even as a military president, when he was a very young person,
So older Nigerians should have known better before voting for him.
it was Tinubu and in Lagos Ibadan press that forcibly repackaged Buhari and put him there for Tinubu's own interest. Understand? So for what Garba Shehu said, that is the mentality of the North. Understand? We are occupying space. But what they don't know that every office has a responsibility. Every office has a responsibility, and if you cannot perform the responsibility required of an office, you have no reason being in that office. If you don't have the capacity, the competency to fulfill the responsibility of an office, you don't have any reason being there. But they not have this mentality of occupying space. We have power, but they don't know what to do with the power. That's why from 1960 up till now, Northerners has ruled for about 53 years or more. But the North is still the poorest, the most undeveloped, even though that they have been having the power, but they don't know what to do with it. And that's what Garba Shehu is saying now. Because one, APC just come to restore power, not for governance. We know this since 2015, that they don't have any governor, any business governing. All they want is just we have gotten power. Now Tinubu is a GCFR. His achievements have been made. His ambition, he has made it. Every other thing is no more his business.
All right.
Buhari, GCFR, they're occupying space. That is all. And the people are suffering. So that's the mentality of APC.
Okay.
And
then.
as long as APC continue to rule Nigeria, that's what we are going to have. They never understood governance.
Okay then, as much as we want to extend this conversation, unfortunately our time is up and we need to leave the studios. But that is all we can take on today's episode of Political Roundup. My name is Chioma Innocent. Do well to join us again. It is the final edition for the week as today is Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Do have yourself a wonderful weekend. I am Chioma Innocent. See you again on Monday. But do stay tuned. The news at 9 comes up shortly.